Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a cigar that I have tried extremely hard to enjoy, but I just can't seem to get along with it. It is the Partagas D No. 4. This is a Robusto size cigar, and it is a classic Cuban Robusto cigar, and lots of cigar aficionados seem to love this cigar. It is a highly popular cigar. I just don't seem to enjoy it. I don't know what it is, because I love Partagas cigars. There are plenty of Partagas cigars that I thoroughly enjoy, including, weirdly enough, the D5 and the D6, which is supposedly, well, they are in the same series of cigars. So I don't know why. I love the D5, love the D6, but the D4, just can't seem to enjoy it. Now, I get that, you know, people have different preferences and so on, but this is, as I mentioned, a classic Cuban Robusto cigar, one that's basically loved by so many of you out there. So I wanted to give it a whole bunch of chances, but every time, I don't know what it is. I did have a word with Habanos about the D4, D5 and D6 and why they're so different, and I mean, take this with a massive chunk of salt, because their answers tend to be very cryptic and kind of vague and difficult to kind of decipher in certain instances, because they just kind of laugh off whatever question you give them. But they mildly hinted that the D4 is slightly different in blend to the D5 and the D6. I don't know if that's 100% correct or not, because again, difficult to have a straight conversation with people at Habanos, because I get why, you know, they've got a marketing department that they'll give marketing answers to, and you can't really get a straight answer from them. But it seems as though the D4 might be a slightly different blend to the D5 and the D6. Once again, massive gravel pit worth of salt over here, because, you know, I don't know if this is accurate enough or not, or accurate at all, but this is kind of the impression that I'm getting. But anyway, I thought I'd post up a video about this, talking about the Partagas D No. 4, which is over here. And you know what? It is a nice looking cigar. It's not the prettiest looking cigar. The band isn't the nicest looking band that Habanos produced, because even amongst Partagas cigars, they've got this standard like red band, which is, well, relatively basic. And then they've got their proper, I call it the proper Partagas band, and that looks a lot nicer, which is on the Salamones, and I think it's on the Presidente as well. Yeah, I think it's on the Presidente as well. I love that band. This one, it's okay, but you know, does the job. It tells you what the cigar is, that's all you want to know. But yeah, let's cut this, light this, get into this cigar and see if I can finally enjoy this one. I doubt it, but hey, don't hate me, you know, I'm just complaining about a cigar that I want to enjoy, but I don't. First few draws on this cigar, and actually pretty good. I think I might need to retract everything I've said about this cigar so far, because this is starting off brilliantly. Beautiful cocoa flavors, like very heavy cocoa flavors in the best way possible. Spicy pepperiness on the back end with like a good hit of woody, cedary notes. It's a brilliant start. It's a brilliant start. I'm regretting this video already now. I might need to change the title of this video. Yeah, this might be the odd one out when it comes to the D4 cigars, because yeah, this has started off. Whew, good cigar. Really good cigar. Coming into the first third of this cigar, and the flavor profile has definitely changed for the worse. It's gone into the profile that I know and despise with the Partagas D4, and that is a sour, slightly soapy flavor. I don't know what it is, but it's this sour note that's just killing the whole vibe. On the front end, there's this really nice black pepper, which is working extremely well. Love that. but it's the sourness, that aftertaste. I mean, it's not even aftertaste, it kind of continues through the draw and remains. And I don't know why that is consistently in almost every D4 that I've smoked. The D5 and D6s, they've got the black pepper, savory flavor notes that I thoroughly enjoy, but they don't have that weird sourness to it. And that's, I think, the differentiating factor between this, the D5, and the D6. In terms of the burn, I don't have any complaints about the burn. Pretty much perfect. I mean, the ash is a little flaky, but I don't particularly care. The draw is a little bit tight, so I might snip off just a little bit extra on the end, because I only took off literally just the cap, so I might just snip off a little bit extra just to hopefully open it up a bit. Like, it doesn't feel plugged, it just feels like I haven't cut enough off the cap. That's what it feels like, so I think that should open it up. But flavor profiles, or the flavor profile I should say, it started off so well. It kind of piqued my interest, got me happy for a moment. I thought, you know, it's gonna be one of those odd cigars that you get out of the box, which is like super excellent and incredible. But no, started off like that, and now it's become the typical dud. Coming to the halfway point of this cigar, and the thing that bothers me the most about this cigar is not the fact that it has that sour flavor that kind of ruins, well, it is that, but it's the fact that there's clear potential in the cigar. For me, I know that a lot of you like this cigar, and that's perfectly reasonable. You know, we can disagree on things that we like and dislike. That's, you know, completely normal. It's not anything out of the ordinary. But for me personally, the thing that disappoints me the most about this cigar is the fact that there's so much potential there. Like, there's this flavor profile in this cigar that I know I would thoroughly enjoy, which is somewhat similar to the D5 and the D6. And that's why I love those cigars, because there's a hint of that in this cigar, but it completely gets washed out with that weird sour soapy flavor. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's there, and it just kind of ruins the whole thing, and that's what annoys me the most. Yeah, still the same. The black pepper flavor, really nice. Savory notes, quite nice, but it's that that sourness which is just killing the whole vibe, completely just ruining it for me. It just takes me out of it. It just completely takes me out of it. And just another one, really, another one for the books, I guess. Burn wise, it's a little messy, in all honesty. I mean, it's not the cleanest looking cigar that I've ever smoked. The ash anyway, very flaky and pretty ugly in some sense, but I don't knock off points for stuff like that, and I'm not going to knock off points for that either. The draw has become a lot better. As I mentioned earlier, I think that when I just snipped the cap off, it just wasn't enough of an opening for this cigar, and when I cut off a little bit extra, the draw became far more comfortable. I'm getting more smoke out of it. It's a lot easier to smoke this cigar now. So it wasn't a tight draw or anything to that extent. It wasn't plugged or anything. It was just the fact that I just snipped off too little on the end. But yeah, flavors are what really let things down, for me anyway, on this one. Coming to the final section of this cigar, and yeah, pretty consistent in terms of what it is, but in this instance, consistency isn't really a good thing, for me anyway, because the flavor notes, I mean, there's something there which I like, but then those sour notes, that weird soapy flavor, it's just ruining it for me. But I did have a thought, you know, something occurred to me whilst I was smoking this cigar, and that is that maybe it's the way that I store my cigars. For this one anyway. Normally I tend to store my cigars a little bit drier than what some would prefer. I tend to hold them at about 65 and just a little bit cooler as well. So could be the fact that this cigar tends to do a little bit better with more humidity. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe the way that I store cigars works for most of them, but just doesn't work for this particular one, and that's what's creating the issue. Because it could very well be the fact that this is a great cigar, because based on a lot of people's reactions, based on how a lot of people enjoy this cigar, clearly there's a bit of a disconnect there, for me anyway. So I'm going to continue trying with this cigar. This is not like my final conclusion on the Partagas D4, like, oh no, it's bad, I'm never going to enjoy it, because clearly people like this cigar and there must be a reason for that. And it could be the fact that the way that I store my cigars generally just doesn't work for this particular one. So I'm going to get a few more in, maybe another box, store it slightly different, separate from my normal humidors and whatever, and try it with a slightly higher humidity and see what that's like with this cigar. Maybe, you know, hopefully I can try and get something with a little bit of age on it already, so that can balance out some of the flavors, and then with a little bit of extra humidity could potentially improve the flavors and maybe my experience of this cigar. So yeah, that's been the Partagas D4. Not my final conclusion, because as I mentioned, I'm going to continue trying, but right now it's not one that I'm enjoying. But I'd love to know what you guys think. I'd love to know if there's a way that you store your Partagas cigars, if there's a, you know, if there's a slight difference. How do you find these cigars? Do you enjoy them? Do you prefer some of the other cigars? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Again, perfectly fine to disagree. If you like this cigar and you think I'm talking nonsense, just by all means put it in the comments and we can talk about the Partagas D4. Right now, D5 and D6, definitely some of my favorites, but this one, I'm going to keep trying. Anyway, just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. If you like this video, hit the like button, please subscribe, share this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one.